Now let's cover bending strings and vibrato. So these big steel strings are kind of tough. You can just grab onto those and bend them to give all of your single notes so much more like soul and like a vocal kind of effect. Let's check out a few different ways to do that. So first of all, it's good to sort of support your hand. Often as you're doing vibrato or bending, you want to sort of pivot off of this place. You're going to hold your index finger sort of closer to the fretboard and then kind of pull back either up or down. You want to go only in one direction. You don't want to ever sort of do vibrato by bending up and then back down. So generally you're going to bend it and release it back to its original position. You pretty much just hold the string up against the fretboard, move it up, keeping it totally against the fretboard, and then back down. Let's try first just some single note bends, just to get your fingers sort of used to it. Use your third finger, and if you can, try to place other fingers behind it just to give it some extra assistance on bending that note up. Also, if it goes higher than the other strings, the strings should go underneath the finger instead of the finger going underneath the strings. All right, so let's try this next example that goes between bends and then a pre-bend and then a bend release. So here's the bend going from the 10th fret up. Notice how my other fingers are helping out that ring finger. Check it out. And now a pre-bend is where you bend the string first before you pick it, then you pick and release it down. That gives it that sort of crying sound. And now for a bend release. This is where you bend the string up and then just release it slowly back down. Okay, notice when we did the first bend, we didn't hear the release. So a lot of beginning students I've seen, when they do that bend, they don't stop it. So you actually, if you're just doing a bend and you don't intend for that release to be there, you do want to stop the string, like either with your left hand or your right hand to actually stop it at its peak. All right, now the other thing is to make sure your intonation is spot on with bending. Since we're doing here either whole step or half step bends, you can actually verify that your tuning is correct just by playing that same note that you're intending to hit. For instance, when we're doing the bending, we're bending up a whole step from the 10th fret, so go 2 frets higher, which is a whole step higher, and play that note so that you know that your pitch is correct. If you're doing a half step, then you just go up 1 fret just to verify. All right, now let's cover double stop bends. So this is a sound you probably hear a lot in country where you basically are playing 2 notes and one of the notes is getting bent. Now you can, of course, bend both notes at the same time, but often you'll hear things where you bend from one, 2 notes where only one is changed. So let's check out a few different techniques that you can use to do that. So first of all, we're just going to play A with the index finger and F with the middle finger, and then we're going to bend up the F to F sharp like this. And notice the index finger is not moving. Try to keep that one still. All right, let's do something similar. We're going to play the 10th fret up here with both the ring finger and the pinky. Pinky's on the first string, ring finger's on the second string, and you're going to bend the ring finger up a whole step. Okay, and let's try bending both fingers now. You're going to play the 7th fret here with, again, the ring and pinky, and both strings are going to bend up a half step. And last, let's go back to the 10th fret, and we're going to do a bend, and then a release, and then another bend, like this. You probably noticed that I'm still using other fingers behind the ring finger just to give a little bit of extra strength and assistance to that bent note. So just keep that in mind and definitely experiment with that on your own time. Let's check out vibrato now. And vibrato is definitely something you could really hear in a guitar player's sound. In many ways, a guitar player's vibrato is sort of like their distinct tonality and their distinct style. Certain players, you hear them play one note with vibrato and you just know who that is. So really just take your time with it. It's basically like bending, but you're just doing it really fast and not quite as deep, just a little more shallow. So let's start out first on the 10th fret of the B string. And just imagine that you're doing a bend, but you're just going to do a very shallow bend and basically bend really rapid, like. Another note about bending and vibrato is that on the thinner strings you want to go in an upward motion, okay? But on the thicker strings, you really have to pull down, obviously, or you would, push the strings right off the fretboard. Okay, so that's where you're going to use kind of the same motion, but it's going to be rocking and pivoting from here, but you just have to go in a different direction. Let's do an exercise now where you can practice the speed of your vibrato, just to make sure that it's not just flailing, that it's like rhythmically in time. So let's play this next exercise to a click or in time, and it moves between going through quarter notes and then eighth notes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.